Oh my God, that was fast, Andrew. That was the fastest ever. We're live already.
I thought you said it was going to take a little bit.
I know, it usually does. And then all of a sudden, here we are. We're live.
There we go.
There goes StreamYard, very interesting. And I
You,
realized I have the absolute incorrect banner up here. My goodness,
oh, we have
Andrew.
the Talk to the Animals banner. I
Yeah.
saw that, but I never said anything. I mean, but we kind of are talking to the animals or talking about talking to the animals
Yeah,
anyways,
we are. We are.
but
You are correct.
but not really. This isn't appropriate, Susie. I can't
No,
believe
it's not. Hmm. Oops, no. That's not it either. Sorry.
I don't know if
I
they're going
don't
to let
know
you
what
change
happened
the
here.
banner
Hmm.
while streaming. Can you do that?
Can I do what?
Change the banner while it's already started.
Well, I'm trying to even see where yeah, I'm trying, Andrew. I'm trying. Sorry about that. Very
Mhm.
unprofessional. What can I say? Well, this is what you get when you're horsing around, huh? You just don't even pay
Apparently.
attention to what you're doing and
Very
yeah,
unprofessional and goofing around.
what's all going on. Yeah. So, well,
Are you gonna fix
um,
it, or are we just talking?
I'm trying, just,
Oh, okay.
yes.
I didn't know what was going on. I was just asking. I don't know what should I be, like, dancing over here, being like, "Do, do, do, do,
No,
do,
we
do,"
can start
like
talking,
Oh,
if you
you
want.
can I see, I can't do that, I don't have the multitasking skills of trying to change a banner and talk. Oh,
I just took it
something
off
changed.
for now.
Oh, okay. So, we removed the banner, we didn't really change it. But anyways, uh, hello, everyone. I don't know. What do you wanna oh, someone just posted it, cool. I posted in the chat, and then people are
Oh, good.
it.
Awesome. Well, we were gonna horsey around a little bit today, Andrew, and why did we choose to horsey around? Because I think we were kind of looking at what are the horses asking for when they are asking for their bodies to be touched and with energies and with the possibility of change. Um, and it's interesting because animals are so receptive to any kind of body work and touch, and they really let you know whether or not they need it, they want it. And it's, I don't know how to even say it. Like, I sometimes tell the story of my cat. When I first learned any of these body processes, my cat was like, "Oh, don't touch me." And it
Mhm.
took her forever, basically about a year or two before she started to leave this planet, was she was willing to start actually receiving body work. So
Mhm.
um but yeah, it's kind of a, I don't know, what do you like? Yeah, you
Well,
talk,
you
I'll
gotta
find
tell
the
the rest of the story
banner.
about your
Well, I
cat. That
mean,
was one of my favorite stories,
oh,
of, like, how you got your cat to receive body work. I thought, "Oh, we're doing a different story. This is a different story of your cat?"
we're horsing around. No, I mean, no, it's not. I just, when I first started, I wanted to touch her with the energies of body work, and she just looked at me, and she had this incredible look that said asshole. She could
Mhm.
really say asshole. And
As cats do
so
well.
exactly. And she was particularly good at it. And so she looked at me and basically said asshole, and she walked away. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
And then, next time I tried it again, she was asleep, and I thought, I'll just do it when she's asleep. So she was asleep, and I put my hand on her, and I started running a process, and she woke up, and again, she looked at me, and she was like, "Asshole," and she walked away. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to try it from a distance, while she's sleeping. And, I'll get it into her body, whether she likes it or not. That was kind of my point of view, because it's a good thing to do, right? You're
Mhm.
supposed to do body
Mhm.
work. Well,
Mhm.
I tried it from about, 3 feet away. And she woke up again and basically again said asshole and walked away. So I was like, oh, okay. And I know, Andrew, you had an experience like that too with horses, where yeah, maybe you want to tell
No,
that
I'll
story.
tell that one, but you got to finish the story because you figured out how to actually work with her, though.
Yeah, I mean, so at some point I recognized, okay, cool, how do I actually communicate with this cat in a different way? And so I one day I don't even remember exactly how it came about, but I
Mhm.
realized that when I said to her, "Hey Baba, you don't have to do any of this, but if you want to, you can." And
Mhm.
so she that changed everything because all of a sudden she would come to me when she was requiring something and then she would receive it. So it turned everything around. But it was always with the invitation, you don't have to, but you could if you wanted to.
That is my favorite. It changed when you told that story the first time, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. I do it with so many people now because they're like cranky, and I'm like, it's like with my wife or something. I'm like, you could eat some food. You don't have to, but you could. Or you could get your bars run. You don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could. But and even with me sometimes, when I'm like you not wanting to receive something or necessarily, even though I probably need it, but you're just cranky, and I'm like, oh, I could do this, but I don't have to, because so often in our world we make it into this have to,
Mhm.
and once it goes to like this necessity or this have to, you instantaneously resist it, even if it's something that you would like.
Exactly. God, how many times do we really do that sort of thing, right? Where
Mhm.
we think we have to do something instead of actually knowing it's a choice or oh God. Yeah, you just reminded me how often we kind of struggle with ourselves with that. We almost fight ourselves in a moment like that. That's
No,
crazy.
you do end up fighting yourself, and I think it was, it's like because I had a dog that was like that for a while too, where he would love to be petted, and in the moment, I could pet him all day. Basically, you can give him pets and scratches and everything, but the moment I would turn like Essie on or like a body process on, he'd be like, "Whoop, walk away." And I mean, it was every time, and finally, I was like, "Okay, what's up?" He's like, "No, I'm good." And because I mean, when I would do classes like body process classes or stuff at my house when I was facilitating that, he would come and receive that way. But it was just like, it wasn't something that he needed. And when he needed it, he would get it. But it wasn't a lot, or what I considered. But it's always funny because we have this point of view that, oh, you have to do things the way I think you should do things, and not the way, you know, necessarily that you would like it. So I
Yeah.
think that's funny too, with animals in general, because we have the point of view they need something, but they actually know what they require, and a lot of the times they're just willing to go with that. They're not going to just go along with your silliness, your conclusions, and your stupidity just because you're telling them they have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're like, you have to do this. They're like, no, thanks.
Yeah. And that's I think one of the things why I really enjoy like the SE Extravaganza class is because of exactly that, including the horses in the class. I think gets people a very different way of recognizing when an energy is being received, and because the animals show you that so dynamically. Yes, this is wonderful. Keep going, or asshole, um,
Or
basically,
no, not
really.
today. I mean, that's like, the story you were telling me to tell is like when my first essay extravaganza that I went to as a participant before when I was young and not teaching essay or facilitating it. And I remember it blew my mind because it was like the first time any of us were going to work on horses, and we're in this arena and the horses are kind of at liberty, able to walk around. And so you were telling people, okay, like, let's go work on a horse. And you're talking about just ask the horse where it would like to be touched, put your hands on it, essay it. And there was this lady in the class who I knew, I'm like, when we're pairing up, I'm like, nowhere, like, I'm not going to partner with her. I'm just like, there was just an energy there. Whatever it is, whether I'm an asshole or whatever it is. But I was just like, no. And so I watched this lady who was all outwardly excited and like, I'm gonna heal this horse and help it so much and like change its world and whatever, all this stuff. And the lady went to touch the horse. She goes to puts her hand on the horse. The horse looks back at her and just walks away. And I'm like, what? And you kind of see the lady get a little upset, but I'm like, but I looked into the horse world. The horse wasn't upset. The horse wasn't making itself wrong. The horse was just like, no, not today. No, thank you. And basically, like, no, thank you, and walked away. But it was like the horse didn't get angry. The horse wasn't making her wrong. It was just like, no. I was like, wait, you can do that? You can just be someone coming to you saying, oh, I want to help you. Let me like change your body, work on you. And you can just be like, no, that's not what I want. No, thank you. And just walk away. It was like, that it still to this day kind of blows my mind, and changed so much with how I operate in my life. Cause I was like, oh, you can just say like, no, thank you. And you don't have to like, for whatever reason, you don't really need a reason and justification or anything. The horse was just like, no, thank you. And it wasn't wrong. I was like, oh, that was awesome. But and those are the things that I think the SE Extravaganza class and the horses invite you to, especially the SE Extravaganza class, because you can have something like that where that changes like my point of view and my receiving, and then we get to go like get work done and receive with your body, and have a different way of being that, like having that energy play out or playing with it, or just receiving in a different way, which is unique, I think, or special.
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally. And we actually have someone asking, did that lady ever change her approach? I don't even think I ever asked you
No,
that question.
she did not.
So did all the horses walk away from her? I don't actually even remember
No,
that
there
lady
was
at
one
all.
horse. There was a horse, but she was still there was. I mean, this is way back. I think this is over almost. It's probably close to 10 years ago, I think.
I think so, at least, yeah.
So, but from what I recall, I think it changed for her because that was the first day. By the end of the fourth day, people change so much, like they start receiving more. So even if they have some of that energy, it changes in a way because they start relaxing, they start receiving, and the energy that kind of creates the get away from me, or like I don't want to be touched, kind of dissipates or relaxes in a way. But I saw some horses still. She was still a little overly zealous, but I know by the end of it, she started changing. I don't think you can come to the SE Extravaganza class and not change.
Yeah,
But
and
once all of you, you're welcome to come and not change. It's fine. You could
exactly.
change, but you don't have to.
You don't have to change.
No,
You could change if you wanted to, but you don't have to.
you don't have to.
No.
We should start class like that, Suzy.
We
You can
should.
change if you want to, but you don't have to.
You don't have to. It's not a requirement.
Everyone's gonna be like, oh. Don't know what I was gonna say.
Well, it's the fun part about, touching these horses, and them being so authentic in every moment. Really also kind of gives you that sense of like, okay, what is my agenda here? What am I doing?
Mhm.
Not just like, oh, am I having the correct energy of the body work? Because a lot of people have that point of view too. Am I doing it right? When I touch the
Mhm.
animal, am I doing it right? And when you have that energy, a lot of times the horses will really entice you to step it up. And, sometimes they get a bit fidgety, especially when they know that you have more energy available, but you're not allowing it to really flow. They might get really fidgety, and they don't necessarily walk away, but it's more like, come on, come on. I know you have it. Do it, be that energy. And so that's always fun for me too, to watch that part. So I really get that a lot of people have said that when they come to this class, that they really get a different sense of what it's like to run body work and to trust themselves in a different way, and to really know what is possible, just because the horses are so present every moment, in every second, and every horse is different, so you can't approach the same way with two different horses. It's always different, and that's fun too, to really be like, oh, look at this. This horse doesn't like this approach, and the other horse did. Interesting. So
And I think that sense of looking to get it right, when you have like trying to get it right, trying to touch the horse in the right spot, versus, and we have this with people obviously too. With the horses, if you approach with that energy, they don't really stand for it. They won't, like, they'll, if you're intense enough with that energy of trying to get it right, they kind of start freaking out because you're not relaxed. You're like very tense. They almost have it as a sense of like there's like something they need to be aware of or wary of that's going on around them, because like when you have this sense of of rightness in your world, of or just trying to get it right and not being wrong, the horses, one, they don't really get that, so it like confuses them. But then also, it's like that energy is like, they're like, is there a predator around? Do I have to, like, why are you freaking, like, why are you not relaxing? Why are you not, this is horsey spa day. Well, that is not spa like,
yeah.
what.
No, it's funny. I just, when you said that's not very spa like, I just thought that was funny.
But it is, they do. And I mean, I've seen this, whether we're working on horses or like riding them, it's always been funny when I'm having a bad day and I go to ride a horse. And if I don't relax, it's just a bad day on the horse. You know what I mean? It doesn't change it, because the horse is like, okay, we're doing a bad day. And then he's like, my horse is difficult and a pain in the ass. It's like, it's always funny when Diana's having a bad day and she goes to ride and it's just a bad day on the horse, and then the horse is doing everything incorrectly and everything else, and you're like, well, why are you being so difficult? Oh, well, because I'm difficult. And the horse is like, okay, we can do difficult.
Yeah. Yep, that's the bad news about the horses. Well, cool. um I don't know if there was anything else we wanted to play with today with the horses.
I don't know. Someone loves the comment, it's not very spa-like.
Yeah.
No, but I think I what was I gonna say with for me, as a person that that went to chiropractic school, was working on lots of people bodies, and then like got to interact with the horses. It was such a different form of feedback for me to go from putting my hands on a person to dealing with a horse when I hadn't really been around horses or dealt with them before. Because you see, it was always so funny, because I was like, how do you know you want to work on the horse? You're like, just ask the horse. And I was like, okay, horse. And like out loud or in my head, I'm like, where would you like me to work? And then the horse would always find a way to indicate something to me. It would like touch an area of its body part, or it would put its nose on a certain part of mine, or something that I was like, okay, that was weird. And then I would go to that area and you see this horse like, oh yes, like start to relax, like head dropping down, like ears, like everything just really relaxing, almost falling asleep. And I was like, oh wow, that's weird. And I kept doing it and it kept occurring. Like, I'm like, okay, that's really strange. But for me, it was such an acknowledgement, because with people bodies, sometimes you're working on them and you're like, how is this? And they're like, meow. Or they're like, that's you're getting the information that of their body, and that's where it's asking to, because you're following the energy, listening to their body, and you're like, it hurts, it's too intense. And you're like, okay, what do I do now? And with the horse, they're like, yes, it's intense, keep going. And with the horses, they're like, you're not doing it good enough, use more energy. And they actually start using their body and like leaning into you and stuff, even if you're just lightly. They're like, no, that's not enough, turn it up more. And you're like, okay, this is it's such a different experience than doing body work on a person.
Yeah. There's no games really with the horses, you know, they don't play a
Mhm.
game with you. And it's not that all people are playing games, but there are so many points of views a lot of times that are going on when people even are coming to receive body work, or now they have to give body work, or however that, you know, looks like. There's often so many points of views that people have, and you know, basically the horses don't have a point of view, and they are not playing a game with you, and they're not trying to do something to make you feel bad or whatever. Like, it's not, and it's not that people always do that, but sometimes it's just there's agendas there that, you know, are often hidden. Often the person doesn't even know they have an agenda. Horses don't
Mhm.
have agendas, they're just there. And so it's really such a different way of being, and the horses really teach us a lot in that way. So yeah, I
Yeah, and I think
totally.
for people who just be cranky with their body, either you're upset that their body's not doing what they would like it to do or what they think it should do or all of these things. And horses have none of those points of views. It's like the amount of times we've worked with a horse that was, really sick or dying or had these injuries, and we're like, "How you doing?" They're like, "Great." You're like, but they're like, "Well, how's your body doing?" You're like, not okay, could be better." You're like, "But aren't you?" You're like, "Yeah, it's good. It will be what it will be." And you're like, um, okay, like, because it's not, they don't have this, you know, I don't know, a self judgment piece that gets involved. The horse is going to be like, "I don't know how I could have been so stupid to spook at that squirrel and then hurt myself." Or, "I should have seen it coming," or whatever. Or, "I can't believe I got scared by that shadow." Like, the horses don't do that. So for them, it's really just about their body and what it requires. And that's such an invitation of being able to perceive that energy and being around that energy and receive it. And then you get to go have your body work done and be like, "Oh, well, I would like to be more like this," where it's just like, "Oh, this is just what I require." And there's no like justification for it or story around why you need it or anything else. It's just like, "Hey, this is what my body's asking for. Please contribute what you can."
Yeah.
I never I know, but it's and I mean, just if you notice your body's like all relaxed there, that's such a different energy to create your body with and to create your body from, rather than, you know, the the mental kind of thing of the mental checklist and trying to figure out everything of your body and then cross-reference it and check it and all the other things that we do with our body. That's just, you know,
And get it
insane.
right and then repeat. I think that's the thing too, you know, when we come to some place where we're like, "Oh, I got this right." Then you want to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat to get it right over and over without recognizing, "Oh, it was actually only correct in that 10 seconds and it worked in
Mhm.
that 10 seconds." Doesn't mean that tomorrow it's the same. But we so want to come to that place of like, "I got this right. Let me do it again and again."
Yeah, but I also think, one of the things that the horses invite you to is this, like we were saying, horsing around. It's like playing, you know, you're like, because the horses have a sense of like, they're not looking to try and get it right or wrong. And so it's like, even if you screw up with the horse one day, they're not going to be like, "Ah, I remember you, you're that idiot." You know what I mean? They're not going to like hold you to like you being stupid from one day. It's like you that are holding on to those things.
Hmm.
And but if you had a sense of play with the horses, working on the horses or being around horses, or your own body, of like, there's been so many times where it's, I've done that, like go have a great meal and you're like, "Oh my god, this was the most amazing thing," and then go back and get the same meal and you're like, the next day, and you're like, "Oh, it's not very good today. What?" Well, why? Because that's what like you're saying, that's what my body required in that moment. But it doesn't mean like now the rest every day I'm going to have steak and potatoes, or Brussels sprouts or whatever it is. But we try to come to these conclusions with our body, and the horses really don't do that. They just, have an awareness of their body and are looking what it requires in the moment and do that. You're like, good. I don't know. Anything else, Suzy? I think
I think that was pretty cool.
yeah, there you go. So, Suzy and I are doing an SE extravaganza class end of February. It starts February 28th in Costa Rica at a resort called El Lugar. The prereqs for the class are a foundation within 24 months or a choice of possibilities class at any time. And you could come, but you don't have to. Only if you want to. But you don't have to. So good. It gets you every time. I think it's still one of my favorite stories ever. Like, Bubba, you don't have to, but you could if you wanted to, but only if you want to. And it's a 4-day long class, and like we were saying, we work on horses. It basically works to half the day with horses, half the day you gifting and receiving and learning the energy of SE on people bodies as well. So it's, we call it an extravaganza because it really is, there's something extra with it, and it's over the top in a way, but it's over the top in a subtle way of inviting you to kind of be more of the energy of listening to your body and just tapping into the energetic communication that's possible for you in all areas of your life.
So there
you go.
Well, thanks everybody for being part of this and listening and watching, and hopefully we'll get to see you at one of these wonderful extravaganza classes somewhere in the world. Andrew and I don't do them super often, but we do go to different places, so just keep looking for them. And of course, join us wherever, whenever. But you don't have to. You only if you want to.
It's so funny. Because it's like you say that, but I'm like, we all know that. But then when you say it, you're like, oh yeah, it's so weird. But anyways, hope to see you in some class around the world. Oh, but only if you want to.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.